Will the Proteas ever get it right with the bat? If so, when? And what will it take? Well, South Africa has been way below average with the Willow in 2022, and that is us being kind. The most recent proof of that was the first and second test against Australia at the Gabba in Brisbane and the MCG in Melbourne. It took eNCA and the boys 8 innings to reach a score of more than 200 runs, albeit in a losing cause. Malibongwe Maketa's men lost the first match by 6 wickets and the second by a humiliating innings and 182 runs. So, how does Cricket South Africa and the team fix this, if at all possible? Well, joining me now to try and find those answers is cricket analyst Gift Xaka. A very good morning to you, Gift. Thank you so much for your time. And I would have wanted it to be under different circumstances, but 2022 has proven that different circumstances will not be the case for South African cricket, at least at test playing level. Where is it going wrong? What are we not doing right? Why can't we find the answers? Why do we go out onto the crease and struggle to even put together 200? When you're looking at Pakistan scoring 400 as easily as they do, you're looking at the likes of England scoring many runs as easily as they do. Everybody else seems to be scoring runs, but not us.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. Look, it depends on where you are playing currently. If you're playing in Pakistan, obviously those are flat tracks. You will score lots of runs. England, they seem to have identity now with the buzz ball. They're playing a different type of brand of cricket. Whereas with the Proteas, if you look at our batting lineup, the only 2 seniors, it would be your eNCA and Temba Bavuma. But the rest of the guys are young in terms of international experience or test cricket experience. Yes, at the moment they're struggling, but to be fair on the guys, the first test, it was a clean number that, it was difficult to bat for both teams. Second test, you could see the application and maybe, like I've said, the lack of experience for some of our guys in the top 6. The application was not perfect. But however, give credit to Australia. They've got seasoned bowlers, experienced type of bowlers, and unfortunately, the Proteas met the baptism of fire there, and give credit to it too. I think the Australians bowled well, and they were really testing our guys, and unfortunately, they came on top. But South Africa, in terms of batting, yes, their top 6 is still very young in terms of international cricket.
I mean, I hear the reasons of experience, Gift, but we look at a player like Marnus Labuschagne, who burst onto the test cricket scene and has not looked back. And nobody was ever saying, yeah, he's going to need a bit of time to get the experience going. And he's not even dominating in his own home conditions. He did it right here in South Africa, where he has not actually played cricket for many years. He does it in other conditions, England, for example. So are we really being fair by putting up the experience reason for these guys? Because they are professional cricketers. I would want to say that you're a professional cricketer. You are selected for a reason because you clearly know how to play this game. And yet, when they get there, they don't. Rusty van der Dussen, for example, has now been playing test cricket for quite a while, but we are still waiting for a century.
Yes, I understand. I understand where you're coming from. Look at Rassi. Rassi just came back from an injury. It's not an excuse, but I know when you get picked, it means you are ready to go represent your country. And the conditions in terms of South Africa and Australia, they're more or less similar, yes, and the guys should be scoring runs. But like I've said to you, I think our guys are young in terms of test cricket. And look at the next crop of batters. I think the solution here would be to play more SAA games so that we can look at our next best players, the likes of Dizosi, for an example, the Rickletons and those guys. So those are the guys that we need to look after, because they obviously the next best crop of batters that we have. Your Malan brothers, those we need to look after, but we need to play more SAA games because there's a huge gap between our domestic cricket and international cricket. So if you take a guy directly from domestic cricket to international cricket, then you're throwing them at a deep end, you're not helping them. So I think the guys they need to be playing more SAA games. The likes of Deval, Previs, we've got lots of talent, but those SAA games are crucial for them to bridge that gap between domestic cricket and international cricket. And I'm sure in time, when we have our home series next year, we'll be talking something different. And we should get more or less what our top 6 will look like in the future.
Everybody has got a solution. Everybody has got what they think is the solution. We saw a tweet coming out from Dale Steyn where he was like, I've been calling for David Miller to step into that Test cricket team and give for Test cricket what he's been giving for ODI cricket. And then, I mean, you're coming up with solutions that there needs to be that bridge, that gap bridged between, you know, domestic cricket and the Proteas setup by giving us more SAA games. And then, you know, there are those, Dean Elgar being one of them, saying that actually give us more Test playing time, give us more matches. This thing of us playing maybe 3 series in a year when our counterparts are playing a whole lot more is not helping us, and is not helping us give us that experience. So it all comes down to we need experience, we need time playing, we need to be facing more top nations such as England and Australia more than, you know, twice every 5 years, yeah?
Yeah, that is correct. We need to be playing more. Look at Australia and England. They play more Test cricket. Look at India and South Africa. And if you look at the future tour program, South Africa are going to be playing very, very limited Test number of matches. And then how do we go about then, you know, getting those Test players ready? And you look at our domestic setup, they don't play enough games as well. That's why it is crucial to have those SAA games. That it's crucial to also have those guys that are next in line to be playing in different conditions in different countries, so that by the time we start playing Test cricket and we have to pick guys that will go represent the country, those guys have experience in playing in other conditions. So those games for SAA will be very crucial because we've got talent. Make no mistake about that.
Just before I let you go, there will always be the question about the coach. I would not want to put any kind of expectation or blame on Malibongwe Maketa. Yes, he's been in the system for a while, but he is taking over for the first time. He's only had 2 matches, and those matches are against Australia in Australia. It would be unfair to put any criticism on him. But do you give him the job going forward for the purposes of stability and consistency and calming the nerves of the team? Do we go with Malibongwe Maketa?
I think it will all depend on what was the objectives going to Australia. Did he tick those objectives? I know most people will be saying the first objective, if you're representing the Proteas, would be to win. But is he bringing the team together? Is the confidence going up? Maybe those are some of the objectives. Does he know the system better? Yes, he does, because he's been there with the previous coaches. Do we give him the opportunity to show what he can do at Test level? I would say, to be fair on the guy, yes, give him the job. But it depends on what the objectives were. Maybe he was told before going to Australia that you're going to just look after the team for now, then coming back we'll look for a coach. But we don't know that. But I would say keep him in the keep him in the system, because he knows most of the players that have been there, and he's been with the coaches that have been there before. So it would be good if there's a new incoming coach for him to have someone that's very familiar with the environment. But I would say it's just ridiculous if we were to judge him on this tour, because the same thing happened to Enoch when he went to India. And it's not easy to tour such countries, India, Australia. It's not easy. Had it been maybe we had gone to one of the lower ranked nations and had he won, would people be still saying the same thing? So we need to be very neutral and be very, understanding about the appointment of the coaches, yes.
Most definitely. We can only but hope that when we go to Sydney, something of a restoration of pride comes forth and that we don't lose a whitewash. But you know what? Again, it is still early days for Malibongwe Maketa, and we can only hope that what he's trying to do right now with the Proteas will bear fruit in due course. But Gift, we'll leave it there with you. Thank you so much for giving us your time, of course, here on the South African Morning.